Do you guys remember those really cool predatory beetles that I picked up from BTS? Well, today's video, you get to see me rehouse them and get some feeding footage. Hello and welcome back to Bug Realms. On this channel we like to discuss all things creepy crawly, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm sorry, I'm doing something weird with my mouth. My moustache part is tickling my lip. Ugh. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you didn't need to know that part, right? So the footage that I'll be showing you is actually footage taken weeks ago. So the rehousing part was actually done the day after BTS, so it was done on the 23rd of May, and the feeding footage was taken 2 weeks later because I was, well, as you'll be able to see in a bit, I struggled to get them to feed. So I'm just going to crack straight on with the footage that I had taken. So we start today's footage with me creating the home for these predatory beetles. Now I first put in a layer of moist substrate topped with bone dry desert sand. I mixed this together a little bit. I wanted the bottom layer to stay a little bit moister, a bit more humid, and the top layer to stay a bit more dry, but I still kind of did a little bit of a mix. And this is because I don't know whether they'll breed, I don't know how to keep the larvae, and I thought having a moisture gradient would be a good idea. Now, as you can see, I'm faffing around with a log here and I'm having no luck. So I actually switched this over and get a smaller one. And I'm glad I did because I prefer the shape of this. Although one problem does occur with this log, and you'll see that in a little while. So I'm just going to finish off with some decorative bits here, a few more bits of bark, and then I go on to some dry moss just for an aesthetic look. Now I know that was a quick overview, but you will see this enclosure properly soon. Now this bit's important, keep an eye here. How many beetles do you see? If you see 4, comment me below saying you have seen 4. You'll see why I ask this in a moment, and take real care and attention to the rehousing part in just a moment. Before we continue this video, did you know that Bug Realms is affiliated with the Spidershop? So when you next need a stunning new tarantula, some healthy live food, well needed equipment, or just in the market for something unusual, please head over to the Spidershop via my personal and unique link in the description below. This won't cost you anything extra, but it gives me a little back in return for your loyalty. Thanks guys, now back to the video. So here we go. You see a beetle go in there, another one go in there. That should be 2 in the pot, right? You see 2 beetles? So now we're adding the other 2. 1, 2. That's 4 beetles in here. So there's 1. And we'll move down. There's number 2. There's number 3. Now, I actually had to turn the camera off in a little while because I could not for the life of me find number 4. I searched all around. First of all, I thought maybe it escaped, that I tipped the pot wrong. I checked the rest of the soil in the pot, thought I was going absolutely mad. Now, to this day, folks, providing this video was created weeks ago, I've only seen 3 big beetles out in one go. But I think I know where the other has gone. You'll see in just a moment. Here's me just checking the bit of dry moss and the soil that I poured in to make sure it wasn't buried. Now you see that hole there by the log? That is where I believe the other beetle went, and I think actually earlier on in the editing process I did see it run that way. Now I have seen beetles come in and out of there since, so I'm 99% sure that's where the beetle is. But as I said, still only actually encountered 3 at a time. Perhaps one's decided to stay hidden away or create a burrow. Now initially I didn't think there was enough space in that gap, so I checked with a straw. This is a hard plastic straw and I could not get it to go in very far. Also off the camera I checked with my finger, so these beetles, although large, have managed to get in. Now here's feeding time. We actually have some fails at the beginning. I placed the Morio worm in and nothing. The beetle showed no interest. Now, as you know, when you rehouse tarantulas, or perhaps you didn't know, they don't tend to feed right away. Now, I never had a problem when I used to own Egyptian predatory beetles. However, these ones, they were too busy scouting the area to care that a morio worm was walking around in their enclosure. You can see them checking out the edges of the enclosures there. Looks like he's dancing in the background, while the worm casually goes for a stroll. This is where I replaced the worm in hopes that they would realise that there is prey beneath their legs, but there was no result. Don't fear though, because here, 2 weeks later, I got some feeding footage. Look as the beetle attacks the morio worm. Lost him, but he found him again. Now I have noticed that the morio worm's exoskeleton is a little bit too tough for these beetles. You can see as he's trying to pierce it, but if he did manage to pierce it, he would grip hold while the worm was spinning around. But he just couldn't quite grasp it. And notice how the others have not shown any interest. They do feed, don't you worry. Now this beetle was persistent, grabbing the moss instead of the worm. But he goes back after it. Now in my head I was thinking I need a different kind of prey, perhaps a mealworm or something else in my collection that I could throw in there for these beetles to try. You can see he's really not having much luck here. Still amusing to watch though, right? So I sifted through my morio worm and mealworm pots and I came across this little alien here. This is a fresh pupa, so this is the stage between mealworm and darkling beetle, and he's taken straight to it. You can see how he's able to slice and dice right through this pupa, getting out all the juicy goodness for his liquid guts diet. Now I really liked this shot. You can see bits of the moss on the beetle, you can see a bit of the sand on the beetle, just in each little crevice. And of course, you get the gory feeding footage. Now this pupa was the best because I did move on, but before we got onto that, I forgot about this clip. Check this out. Comedy sidestep from the morio worm. I just had to chuck this in. Sorry, I thought it was another feed, but I just thought that was hilarious. And the worst bit was, it walks towards another beetle, but that one was too busy eating. Here we go, this is where I thought we were coming up to. This is a mealworm, and the beetle grabbed it no problem. He can fit it between his mouth parts with ease, but still doesn't seem to pierce the skin of the mealworm. Instead, he's just crushing the guts, seeping to either side, the head and the butt, but he never did fully break through. Really interesting to see that. So that is the feeding footage I have for you. Let's get back to the me part, shall we? So there we have it, folks. The footage I've taken of our predatory beetles. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please comment below and let me know. Please make sure that you have subscribed and hit that bell icon too. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye bye.